Alright, so boom, if you are unaware, it's about time I bring you up to speed, because last night was the 94th installment of the Academy Awards. The Oscars went down yesterday evening, but it might as well have been the Emmys, because turns out one of my favorite television shows from my childhood just kicked off their 5th season. When I first saw this, I thought this was fake. Excuse my wrestling terms, I thought this was a work. There was no way this was a shoot. However, given what transpired afterwards, where Will Smith berated Chris Rock verbally and cussed him out, that's when I said, oh, this might just be real.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
Wow, dude.
Yes.
It was a G.I. Jane joke.
Keep my wife's
G.I. Jane のジョークだったんで
out
す。
your fucking mouth.
I'm going to, okay?
Now you're probably wondering to yourself, what could have been the catalyst here that led to the indignation invigorating inside of the soul of Will Smith, leading to him now approaching Chris Rock on stage and asking him, what did the 5 fingers say to the face? As the urban youth would say, what had happened was,
Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it, all right? That was a nice one, okay.
evidently the joke went too far for Will's taste. Or did it? Because I could have swore I saw him laughing.
Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it, all right?
Gotcha, bitch.
One thing's for certain, two things for sure. If looks could kill, Jada Pinkett Smith would be brought up on charges and Chris Rock would be in the upper room. Because you can clearly see this lady was not laughing the entire joke. Alright, but Will Smith clearly was. Now, there was a moment in which the camera cut away from Will Smith and Jada Smith after the joke was told, and it went to Chris Rock, and you got his immediate reaction to Will Smith now approaching him. It looked as if this was an episode of JoJo Bizarre Adventure between Jotaro and Dio.
ほう、向かってくるのか。逃げずにこのディオに近づいてくるのか。せっかく祖父のジョセフが私のザワールドの正体を
近づかなきゃてめえをぶちのめせないんでな。
ほうほう。では十分近づくがよい。
Mance was approaching him and Chris Rock didn't know how to respond or react. His hands clearly did not leave his pockets and he leaned in to continue laughing. So that's where it kind of had me in a situation where I thought this was probably, part of the script. And then of course, Chris Rock felt every piece of Will Smith's phalanges and metacarpals on his zygomatic bone.
Oh, why you hit so hard?
And the internet wasted little time getting all of the memes.
Good morning, everyone. God has let me live another day, and I am about to make it everyone's problem.
I'm out here. Uh-oh, Richard.
Chris Rock made a joke about my wife's hair. That's going too far. If he would have simply slept with her instead, then I would not be mad.
Now let's break this down piece by piece, beginning with the catalyst, that being the joke. Regarding G.I. Jane and Jada Pinkett Smith, if you know who G.I. Jane is or was, or what the movie was, and how, Demi Moore looked inside the movie, and you look at the photos of Jada Pinkett Smith, you look at the photos of G.I. Jane, hilarious comparison. As a comedian myself, I think this was a hit.
Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it, all right? that was a nice one. Okay.
A lot of people who don't get the reference will look at it like, oh, it was kind of stale, wasn't very good. Whatever the case may be, comedy is extremely subjective. However, for those of you people who happen to go out there and say, that's very offensive, you shouldn't make that kind of joke. Every single joke, hell, everything that you say can be interpreted as offensive to somebody. Because take into account, every single host of every single award show, talk show, whatever the case may be, somebody is making jokes at somebody else's offense. Now, does that mean that you're not supposed to get offended? Not at all. Will Smith or Jada Pinkett Smith or anybody for that matter has the right to get offended. However, you have to look at the context in what is being said. It's not as if Chris Rock got up there and had nefarious intentions, as if he said, I'm going to get up here and purposely go after you to hurt your feelings. This man just got done making fun of other people.
Stupid bitch.
Moreover, didn't we just identify the fact that Will Smith was indeed laughing at said very joke as well? It wasn't until he recognized, oh, Jada got a problem with it, suddenly it ain't funny no more. Now, I know what a lot of people are thinking. Well, perhaps Will Smith was simply trying to bottle up his emotions and ultimately reached his breaking point because the brothers have been dealing with a lot as it pertains to his family and himself being the butt of everybody's joke in Hollywood as it pertains to the last 3 years. That is fair, but let's explore that for a little bit, right? Let's take a look at where this all started. The Red Table Talk, his wife's show, where they put their entire life and their relationship on Front Street. Keep in mind, Will Smith only came to social media when? About 4 or 5 years ago? And when he did, he came into social media like a goddamn rocket. The man immediately over millions of followers. You take a look at Will Smith's Instagram, it's some of the best, editing or kind of posts or whatever the case may be on the platform. However, that's all been diminished. Why? Because of the work of his wife and them putting their family and whatever the hell they got going on Front Street. Because when you now publicize what's going on in your personal life, you open yourself up to criticism from the public. Does that mean that their opinions about what goes on behind closed doors in your relationship or what you happen to put out there is valid? No. However, you now open up that door to where people can have opinions and motherfuckers gonna make fun of you, especially when you deal in the realm of comedy. Because what do comedians make fun of? Everything. So you best believe you gonna catch some stray bullets.
People's feelings involved.
Right.
And at the end of the day, it's all love.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I've seen other people say, well, in Will Smith's case, you can make fun of him, you can't make fun of his wife. Really? Is that right? Because if I'm not mistaken, a couple years ago when they had the whole August Alsina entanglement story going around, isn't that making fun of his wife? Saying that your wife's a whore? Saying that your wife is unfaithful? Is that not also poking fun at your wife, berating your wife, calling your wife out of her name? But evidently when Chris Rock makes a joke about hair, that's where you draw the line. A mere 3.5 weeks ago, on the red carpet, Laverne Cox said to Will Smith in Jada Smith's face,
We can't wait for more Red Table Talk and more entanglements and... No more entanglements. No more entanglements.
Get shit on! Get shit on! 1v1 you pussy! Pussy!
Two different jokes. One in particular regarding the entanglement, infidelity, and a possible relationship. Now granted, Will Smith did say there was no infidelity, but come on now, let's be honest. She done said to Will on Red Table Talk in front of the world, you should have known something was wrong. Really? And the other joke regarding Jada Pinkett Smith's alopecia. Millions of people suffer from alopecia. Does that give him clearance to make jokes about it? Yes, because you make fun of everything.
It was like he has a rule. The bass player, he got a rule. He got to wax his head every morning. That's his rule. He follows the rules, man. He follows the rules. Oh, these are jokes. Come on. See, you got too into the characters and got hurt.
Well, well, well. How the turntables...
Sorry.
Moreover, Jada said this about her own alopecia.
At this point, I can only laugh. And y'all know I've been struggling with alopecia. And
What happened, Jada? I thought you couldn't help but laugh. Laugh now. Laugh now.
Walk out the door, you see someone that you know and they ask you how you are, and you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
You know what this reminded me of? The scene in The Sopranos when Uncle Junior told Mikey he didn't like it regarding the way that Donnie was speaking about the failed hit on Tony and how his people was going to take care of business the following day. This is exactly what happened because Will Smith was laughing. He had no problem with the joke until he saw Jada had a problem. Jada looked at him like, well, we got a problem. I don't like what's going on. You better do something. All of this was said non-verbally, and that now galvanized Will Smith to go ahead and make a move.
I don't like it. This fucking guy's big mouth.
No, he's okay.
I don't like it. Next, he'll be making jokes about me.
Donnie! Sorry!
Now, I don't want to play the hypothetical card of, well, Will Smith wouldn't have done that if it was The Rock. What if it was Jet Li, Tom Cruise, Michael J. White, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Wesley Snipes? I don't want to do that whole card there, okay? Because ultimately, we'll never know until perhaps the next Oscar host is some muscled up individual who happen to be able to fight and they make the exact same joke or another joke at the man's wife's expense, and we'll see if Will Smith had a whole lot of energy. But here's my thing. Right? As it pertains to Chris Rock, I think he handled it the best possible way he could because he soldiered on as if nothing actually transpired. You didn't see the man flinch. Now, you did see him somewhat stumble on his words on 2 different occasions because after Will Smith said,
G.I. Jane のジョークだったんです。
Okay. That was a greatest night in the history of television.
you kind of hear Chris Rock mumble, I coulda, and then he just kept going, right? Because I think in that particular moment, Chris Rock definitely, because if I was up there on stage, I would have made another motherfucking joke. Because this here my job. And if this was enough to get you out your seat, because a lot of people looking at Chris Rock like, yo man, homie just got slapped. He just took an L. I beg to differ. At that particular moment, all of the leverage was on Chris Rock because he's the one with the mic. Anybody who knows comedy, the person with the mic got the power. So let Will Smith had, kept talking, doing all that other stuff. Knowing me, had I been Chris Rock, I'm making another joke right there. Chris Rock stopped himself because you heard himself edit himself and he said, it's the greatest moment in television history. And then he said, we're here to give out a documentary, but he really meant to say an award for an Oscar, whatever the case may have been. But had it been me on the doggone stage, I ain't saying we about to get into a battle of fisticuffs, but what's going to happen is I'm definitely going to make another joke because there ain't no way I'm going to allow you to be able to walk down to your seat as if you just did something. I'm gonna make you get your cardio in. You about to walk back up here. Ooh, I might just feel that slap till August.
Another one.
No problem, Will. I'll keep her name out my mouth during the spring, but how about the summer? I heard it's a hot commodity in the month of August.
Another one.
My face made the same sound Jada's ass made when it gets slapped. Let's ask August.
Another one.
Looks like Hitch couldn't focus on the pursuit of happiness because of the men in black.
Another one.
I ain't into zodiacs, but they say Geminis are supposed to be two-faced, and guess who the Gemini man?
Another one.
How you play the role of Hancock, but your wife's hand was on somebody else's?
And another one.
He got an enemy of the state in his own house.
And another one.
You're lucky August wore protection, because if he raw dogged Jada, she would have gave birth to a baby that was 7 pounds.
And another one.
They should recast Suicide Squad and put August Alsina as Deadshot, because he was shooting all kinds of dead children on your wife.
That one there was a violation. Personally, I wouldn't have it.
Then Jaden Smith getting on Twitter talking about, that's how we do it. What? Boy, if you don't...
Come here.
Suplex City, bitch.
Fuck them kids.
Shut up when grown folks is talking, man. This is not the time.
As for Chris, I cannot believe he did not see something like this possibly transpiring. Now granted, you would never believe somebody would slap you across the face, but you know what he could have used? Some Detroit urban survival training.
Detroit urban survival training. Right now we're going to share with you how you can defend yourself.
Where is Commander Dale Brown when you need him? This man could have prevented this entire altercation.
Intelligent options increase survivability.
You gonna smack me, bitch? In front of my friends? You gonna smack me in front of my friends?
And I feel as if a lot of people are overlooking this fact here, but it's not as if Will Smith and Chris Rock have absolutely no relationship. Now, I cannot attest to whether they are the best of friends. However, they've crossed paths many of times over the course of the past 30 years. Now, don't get me wrong, I completely understand wanting to defend your wife, and you should, but there's a certain way you can go about it. For example, if Will Smith really wanted to look gangster, this ain't the way to do it. What you do is you pull up on Chris Rock during the commercial break. Will Smith's been in Hollywood for 30 plus years. He's been to countless different Oscar awards. Here's what he could have done. You already know there are commercial breaks. Chris Rock is going to have to continue to come out because he is indeed the host. So if your wife got a problem with it, you got a problem with it, here's what you can do. During the commercial break, you walk to the back or you approach the stage, you pull up on Chris and say, hey, my wife didn't appreciate the joke. I didn't appreciate the joke. I would like if you did not make kind of jokes in this manner towards me or my wife, and that'll be the end of it. Because I'd highly doubt Chris Rock will say, oh, word, your wife ain't like it? Fuck out of here. I'm gonna say it again. G.I. Joe Part 3. No, he would respect your wishes and move on with the rest of the show. But you wanted to act gangster. And now look at you. Looking like a clown. You took the ultimate L. Your wife did not jump out of her seat to defend you at any point in which you was getting joked on. But now you're gonna jump on the doggone bandwagon, do it for your wife. Moreover, the only reason why people looking at you in this particular manner is because of your wife. Nobody ever clowned Will Smith the way they clowned this man until Jada started opening her doggone mouth. You'll check Chris Rock, but you won't check your wife? I find that interesting. Facts. And a lot of people looking at Chris Rock like, yo, he took the L. Personally, I believe this is the biggest W that Chris Rock possibly may have taken in his career. Because if you were unaware, Chris Rock and Kevin Hart are going on tour. I believe they're calling it the Headliners Only, or whatever the hell they might be calling it, or Hart Rock, whatever the case may be. I actually have a ticket to one of their shows. I personally believe this is the greatest advertisement for this man's upcoming tour with Kevin Hart, because everybody's going to want to have to see what he's got to say about this ordeal, because there's no way it's going to go unaddressed. Best believe he's going to grab that mic and talk about it.
Shut up and take my money.
Let's take it a step even further. Chris Rock personally did not even write this joke. It's been confirmed it was not him. He simply was the performer who took said joke and brought it to light. It was approved by said writing room of those writers. So Will Smith's job is not done. He better make sure he ices up that hand, because there's some more faces that needs to be slapped. Personally, Chris Rock is a victim. So I don't think we need to wait till Sunday for WrestleMania 38, because the main event has been changed. WrestleMania Saturday, Sunday, does not matter. We had WrestleMania Part 1 this Sunday night, and I'd like to see an encore coming up this weekend in Texas. Forget Stone Cold Steve Austin, Kevin Owens. Forget Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. It's Chris Rock and Will Smith in the main event world title match.
What time is it? What time is it? It's time to whip his ass. And I don't think this damn thing is over. You better watch yourself, all right? You about to get hurt, bro, all right?
You know what's crazy? How much you want to bet Will Smith ain't even get his dick sucked last night? How much you want to bet Mans didn't penetrate her walls and make contact with her cervix? Had that been me, I'd have been expecting so much action that by the time we get done with 8 rounds and you still gonna want to have to service me because I stood up for your honor, I'm gonna be laying there at 3 a.m. damn near dead. Like,
Get your hand off my penis! Are you waiting to receive my limp penis? Ah, yes. I see that you know your judo well.
I'd be remiss if I did not mention this, but big kudos to Denzel Washington, Tyler Perry, and company that came over to Will Smith at the commercial break following said slap and spoke to this man, consoled this man, and spoke leadership and mentorship into him to let him know what he just did was not right. And there's a perfect way, or I should say a particular way, in which you need to conduct yourself. There's no perfect way, but there's a particular way you should, especially when you're in a place of business, a place that happens to be that of your profession. Now, granted, these actors are not working on this particular day. However, you are still surrounded by your peers. You cannot conduct yourself in that particular manner, because let's just be honest about this. This ain't something that happened on the street. Oh, you've been talking, now I'm pulling up on you. You did this on national television. Now, don't get me wrong. I believe if somebody had something to say publicly, you address it publicly. However, you got to take into account the ramifications of what it is that you're doing here. Because you're not only representing yourself, you're representing your co-workers, you're representing the industry, and more in particular, your family. And you conducted yourself this way. Now, I'm not saying Will Smith should not stand up for his wife, like I said prior. But there's a time and there's a place. The same way Denzel and Tyler Perry was able to come up to him during the commercial break, that's the exact same way, like I said prior, he could have confronted Chris Rock in the back or on the stage and simply spoke to him because, like I stated before, these are two individuals who's known each other for about 30 years. They don't gotta be friends, but you can at least speak to this individual because he knows people that you know people that he know. You guys have been somewhat in the same, social circles. Moreover, there's countless different photos of people together, and I'm not even gonna take into account, photos being, legitimate, but whatever the case may be, you could have simply spoke to this man. You did not need to go out there and slap him. And what do you know, in a shocking turn of events, a mere 30 minutes later, the greatest achievement of Will Smith's professional career, he wins the Oscar.
And the Oscar goes to
Will Smith! Ain't this some shit?
If this ain't a moment in history, I don't know what is. Homie slapped the host of the Oscars 30 minutes ago and still rises above that adversity and leaves a winner of an Oscar. You can't make this up anywhere else.
Ain't no way. Ain't no fucking way.
But it's a shame, really, because at the end of the day, is anybody gonna remember this year's Oscar Awards for the fact that Will Smith finally got over the hump, finally was able to make it to the mountaintop, finally was able to leave with the Oscar for the Best Actor? Nah. That's forever going to be shadowed, cast aside to the fact that you slapped Chris Rock. His acceptance speech was the epitome of hypocrisy. He claimed that he wanted to be a vessel of love, but you just slapped the taste out of Chris Rock's mouth mere moments ago.
Now, I know to do what we do, you gotta be able to take abuse. You gotta be able to have people talk crazy about you. In this business, you gotta be able to have people disrespecting you. And you gotta smile and you gotta pretend like that's okay.
You said Denzel came and said, well, at your highest moments, the devil gonna test you.
Denzel said to me a few minutes ago, he said, at your highest moment, be careful, that's when the devil comes for you.
Well, evidently, when the devil pulled out the number 2 Scantron, you scored 100%. You apologized to your, colleagues and also the Academy, but you did not apologize to the man who was simply delivering the joke.
I want to apologize to the Academy. I want to apologize to all my fellow nominees.
What about Chris?
And like I said prior, I'm not saying they have no right to be offended by the joke. However, it is what? A joke. And as Patrice said years ago, funny jokes and unfunny jokes are birthed in the exact same breath.
The joke funny jokes and unfunny jokes are come out of the same birth. That you don't know if anything is going to be funny. You should attempt to be able to make anything funny.
I wouldn't be surprised if Chris Rock and Will Smith reconcile behind closed doors because these guys know each other. Like I said prior, they're in the same social circles and things of that nature. So I would not be surprised if Will Smith called up Chris Rock or Chris Rock called up Will Smith, or maybe after the show, the two of them messed around and met up beforehand, or I should say before Will Smith went to his celebration party, because this man was dancing it up last night like nothing happened. But don't get it twisted. I still believe motherfuckers should get touched up. There are some things that are being said that should result in somebody getting a hand or fist across the face. Do not get me wrong, but context matters. This ain't the first time Will Smith slapped somebody. Remember that reporter he slapped overseas? But that individual was getting a little bit overzealous, doing a little extra with the kisses and the greetings and the holding and all that other stuff, resulting in a slap. In this particular case, Chris Rock was doing his job, providing said humor, and Will Smith took it upon himself to go up there and slap him, because there was nobody else in the crowd who was getting roasted over the course of the past years, because when Ricky Gervais was hosting Academy Awards in the past, ain't nobody rushed the stage and slapped somebody. Context matters here. So please give it a rest with the whole, well, you just can't say nothing and not get hit in the face. Context matters. He's doing his job.
I want to be a vessel for love.
Will, if you don't... On the night that should be the crowning achievement, the greatest night of your professional career, won't even be remembered for your W, but more for your L. Nobody's gonna remember the 94th installment of the Oscars as the night that Will Smith won the Oscar. They're gonna remember it as the night that Will Smith slapped Chris Rock.
See how niggas forget? You see? You see how niggas forget? Art imitates life. I look like the crazy father, just like they said. Love will make you do crazy things.
One sick, perverse son of a bitch, you bastard!
So certainly, this is gonna be a situation in which the public carries the story on longer than the individuals involved. But for me personally, and I think for everybody who saw what happened, so technically it's not me personally, it's everybody, the public, because the altercation happened publicly, although it can be reconciled privately, I think it should be something that's brought to the light publicly so people can see, hey, the two of us, we're cool, it's done, we've squashed it, it's over. Because you already know they're gonna be milking everything for what it's worth out of this doggone story. So if they do indeed reconcile privately, I would hope that they showcase, their reconciliation publicly. But until then, there's nothing but speculation.
Hope the Academy invites me back. Thank you.
In closing, I'll say this. What Will Smith did last night was the epitome of what? Assault. And if Chris Rock wanted to press charges, he could. But he declined that because he has something much more special in store. And what's that? Him going on tour and producing his next comedy special. And I'll say this to individuals who have something to say about comedians. At the end of the day, the job of the comedian is to go out there and attempt to make people laugh. And judging by the reaction of the room, people were laughing. Jada Pinkett Smith, not so much. But for Will, I would hope that when you lay your head at night and you lean over to the right or the left or wherever it may be that your wife happens to lay next to you, you ask her, how did she get her arm so far up your ass to where you can't even move on your own accord? That's all I got to say about that.
G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it.
My God. We said this one was not going to be for the weak at heart. It is not.
That was a nice one. Okay. I'm out here.
Oh, yeah! It's Austin! Stone Cold! Stone Cold! For God's sakes! Stone Cold is back! My God, this has just gone too far. Well, stop it! He may have internal... He's got to have internal... Gotta have internal injuries right here.
Okay.
Everybody hates Chris.
Fucking bullshit!
Sorry.